coaching company where he coaches, he podcasts, and his content there is called Agent Monday, and it's a content subscription service to help you as agents grow your business. So he's going to share some amazing tips with us, and certainly a guide that I would note down for you all to stay in touch with and connect with to help you drive your businesses moving forward. So please put your hands together and welcome Andrew to the stage.
All right, thanks, Gabrielle. Now, the last time I spoke at a conference, I've been out till 4 a.m. in the morning partying with one Jamie Slater. So today is already off to a better start. As Gabrielle said, I run a content marketing subscription service called Agent Monday. And what we do is we provide content and coaching to real estate agents. And this is a strategy which I use throughout my career to achieve a lot of success, but also have complete control of my life. So what I suggest is that today, first of all, I ask that you keep an open mind. Some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, you might glaze over and think, oh, I'm not a tech person, I can't do that. You actually really can. It's really simple, and you can start at a really simple level. So first request is have an open mind. Second request is if you decide this just isn't for you and your business is fine and you're getting enough listings as you are right now, then listen in for a lot of the tips about how you can take control of your life. Because this is a cool system which can help you generate a lot of listings without a lot of cold calling and door knocking, but it's also a system which can free up your time. And for me, as you'll hear, my life is all about building out more time, chasing time affluence. So, have you ever been to a listing presentation? Put your hands up if you've ever been to a listing where you were the only person that owner called in. Cool. How did that conversation go, Simon?
As far as asking if I was having this or just the actual presentation?
Just the actual presentation.
Obviously very confident, trying, even if you're a friend, always try and treat them as a professional who's separate, and because quite often it's your friend or someone who closely referred to you who you only sold one to go to.
Yeah.
So making sure I have to absolute best pitch I could and give them the absolute best information for the public.
I love what you said, the first word was confidence. It's amazing how much confidence you have walking in when you know that you're the only person there. Might be your grandma calling you in, and that's okay. Still got a lot of confidence. Who else put their hand up? Can I have one more person? So what a lot of people find in this situation... we had a lot of hands up before. But what Simon would do this anyway, but what I was trying to allude to was what happens when you go in and you're the only agent that they are calling in, is you're far more forthcoming. You don't sit on the fence about what strategy they should take or what marketing plan they should use or whether they should invest $2,500 in promoting it on realestate.co. You just tell them what you would do if it was your house and you believe in it, and that passion goes through to the owner. You want to treat every listing like that. So what we're going to do today is show you a strategy where you can create more opportunities where you are the only agent they call in, and if they are getting other people in, it's a strategy which will give you a head start in a competition. Sound good? Sounds like a lot, sounds like a tall ask, but I assure you it's possible. So, this strategy is all about positioning you as the go-to real estate expert in your local area. There's 5 key steps which we'll go through. Number 1 is you have to embrace delayed gratification. Okay? I'm going to talk more about this in a sec. This is, if you take nothing else from this talk, this is the key. Number 2, you've got to have a content strategy, and I'll explain what I mean by that, and I'll give you examples. Number 3 is you've got to be consistent and patient. Number 4 is you've got to look for leverage. You've got to leverage the work that you're already doing, and I'll give you examples. And you've got to know your numbers and stay positive. So, this, I was trying to find the oldest photo I could. I got into real estate in 2007. This photo was taken in 2012. So you can imagine what a choir boy I was when I got into it. I had one black suit, and I wore that 6 days a week. And it had this shiny line down the side where I had my seatbelt from my car. And the butt cheeks on the pants were shiny too, because I was getting in and out of my car all day, hustling around, doing my thing. So I got in 2007, sold a couple of listings, survived my first year, and then the GFC hit. And everything just stopped. And there are some parallels to today, because right now what we're seeing is a real shortage, a real tight market. Am I right? Not enough listings to sell. As agents, we don't care if the market's going down or it's going up. We just want turnover. So although the GFC was a tough time to sell houses, there are parallels to that to today. There are fewer houses to sell, smaller pie to fight over. So as a 22-year-old kid, I had to find a way to stand out, to show people that I was proficient, even though I wasn't even shaving yet. And then, and even though I was the youngest in my office by 25 years, I had to find a way to break through. The first, number one key to success is that delayed gratification step. The very best thing I did was have no plan B. I remember talking to my uncle Tim Duncan, who used to own Harcourts in Wellington City before I got started, and I said, any advice? And Tim said, get a big mortgage, take a big loan out on a car, get into as much debt as you can, and then you'll fight like hell to pay it off. You'll have no choice. Now, I do not condone that at all. But his idea was kind of correct. You've got to have no plan B. If you're sitting on the fence right now saying, I'm going to give real estate a go for 6 months, if it doesn't work out, I'll go back to being a builder, or I'll go back to selling insurance, or whatever it might be, you've just got to kick that in the butt. It's got to go. You've got to be all in. Real estate has a really long sales cycle. You need to keep in touch with people for years before it pays off. So you need to have marketing strategies that keep in touch with people, that take a long-term approach. There's an epidemic in this industry of chasing quick money. I need a listing right now, so I'm going to go knock on some doors until someone agrees to sell with me. There are easier and better ways to do it if you take a long-term approach. But that's the key. You have to be prepared to do some work now, which might not pay off for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But I'll tell you, it's sweet when it does. When that owner calls you up and says, hey, Andrew, I've been on your email for 4 years now. You met us at an open home 4 years ago. We're thinking of selling. We want you to come around and see us. And you go in there and you chat to them and you just know you're the only person they're calling in. And that's a cool feeling. And I'm telling you it is possible, but you have to take a long-term approach. Now, I'm 36, and real estate has given me the opportunity to spend all my time, most of my time, with these two. And that's what real estate can do for you. It is such a powerful industry. Where else can a kid who flunked out of uni at 22, who didn't even finish secondary school, go and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and buy properties and invest and have the opportunities that we do? Pretty darn cool. So right now, the rest of my day is filled with whatever I want to do, gardening, cooking, and I love writing and coaching. I love coaching other agents, and Gabriel gave me this opportunity to come today, and it sounded like a good, fun experience to keep me out of my comfort zone. So here we are. Who is riding the income roller coaster right now? Nobody. 2 people. Okay, I appreciate you putting your hands up. So this is only normal. And again, the only way to get through this is to take a long-term approach, okay? Building a real estate business is like gardening. You don't get the results straight away. You've got to plant seeds, you've got to water them, you've got to go and chip in every couple of days, you've got to put some compost on them, you've got to check on them. You've just got to keep putting in a little bit of work regularly, and the payoff comes at the end. It's something that as real estate agents we're really bad at. We fly by the seat of our pants. We live on adrenaline. We deal with the red tasks all the time, as Dario was talking about. But you've just got to carve out a little bit of time in your week to plant those seeds. Okay? Who's got a business plan for the year ahead? Cool, about 49% here, as Ryan would say. Okay, what's in your business plan? Someone help me out here. Goals? What kind of goals? Cool. And you don't need to share specifics, but what sort of business goals are they? Number of sales, number of listings? Cool. So there's nothing wrong with that, and that's what I used to do for many years. But my message here today, and what helps plant the seed for what we're going to talk about mainly, is that in real estate we are often guilty of writing business plans that are entirely focused on what we want, and not at all focused on what the customer actually wants. In real estate, we kind of take it for granted that the customer wants to sell their house and there's going to be people that need to sell. But I think we can go a little bit deeper than that and actually put ourselves in the shoes of our customer and think, what do they actually want? And this is a really cool lens to put all your business decisions through, whether it's an individual person or as a company or as a branch. When you're designing a signboard, when you're designing a flyer, when you're choosing what to give out at your open homes, what does that customer actually want? When you're writing your property adverts, what does that customer actually want? So, this is Sally. Sally is thinking about selling. She's 6 months away from going on the market. She's crazy busy. She is in the research phase. As my generation, you loves to spend time in, has never sold a house before, but she could have sold a house before, that's okay too, but we're just going to use her as an example for now. What does Sally want right now? Education? Information about the selling process? Perfect. Solutions, guidance? That's a really good answer. Any sort of specific guidance that she would like? What's that, sorry?
She'll be also looking to see what she can buy.
Yes? Absolutely. Now, some people in Sally's situation will call agents in. We do get listing opportunities when they're 6 months, 12 months out from the market. But I would argue most people don't. And most people would rather not if they don't have to. You know, most owners don't want to have 3 or 4 agents come around, do their pitches, and then have them calling them every week until they finally do decide to sell. My generation loves to research everything before we call you. We want to know all the answers before we ask you the questions. We love to be informed. We'll research for days and days and days. So, there are some examples of what some of the questions Sally might have. When is the best time to sell? How much do real estate agents charge? Do I need to replace that 70 shag carpet in the rumpus room downstairs? Should we buy first or sell first? How does one even do that? Isn't it the biggest question that comes up in a market like this? Everyone starts off wanting to buy first, then they realise they can't actually do that, so they need to sell first. And it's just this big, long learning journey that goes on for months. And it's such an inefficient process. What improvements will add the most value is the big one as well. Will that unconsented carport that old Uncle John built out the back, is that going to lower the price? Do I need to get that fixed? If you need to do that, you need to work on that months in advance. So, do we all agree that those are the sort of questions someone in Sally's position might have? So in terms of our marketing, why not think about it like, let's give Sally exactly what she wants. Does she need a free appraisal? Not yet. Good man. I'll talk about this soon, but she's got homes.co.nz. She's got Trade Me Property Insights. She's got One Roof. She's got Relav. She lives in Auckland. She's got a rough idea. She doesn't need more specific advice until she gets closer. What she needs now is answers to these sort of questions. In your market, there are, help me, say there's 100 agents. How could you give Sally a reason to call you? If she doesn't know you already, if she hasn't been referred to you, how could you give her a reason to call you? Profile? How else? Information, answering her questions, exactly. That's right, spot on, man. We've got that covered in a second. Actually, it's a very pertinent message. So, do you know the answers to these questions? If you come to my house and I'm thinking of selling, could you give me an answer for all of those? Yeah? In 10 seconds. Yeah, and you'll do it confidently, and you've answered that question 100 times before. So all we're saying is that you take that knowledge and you impart it a little bit earlier to establish yourself as the expert for selling. Because I can assure you, you will have no competition. Now, if you answer those questions for her, without her needing to call you, without her needing to make any effort to find it, do you think you'll be on her shopping list? Cool. So, this is a good little segue right now to talk about disruption. So, Ivan and I had this conversation with owners and with agents, and members of the public, where they asked about, is the real estate industry going to be disrupted? Are we going to be replaced by robots? Are we going to be replaced by websites where buyers and sellers catch up online and just, negotiate a price? Hey, if you pay me my home's valuation, you can have my house. The short answer is no. So, what sites like and apps like Uber and Airbnb, Uber's decimated the taxi industry, Airbnb's decimated the hotel industry. What they do is they create a conduit where you can trust a complete stranger. And it's the peer-to-peer rating system that matters. So I will go and sleep in someone's basement, even though I don't even know them, in a distant country who doesn't even speak my language, because 40 other strangers gave them a 5-star review. How else would you do that? How else would you jump in a stranger's car at 4 a.m. after you've been out with Jamie, shit-faced drunk, if you didn't have that confidence in that peer-to-peer rating system? Now in real estate, the problem is the frequency of the transaction. A vendor couldn't get that peer-to-peer rating system because they only sell a house 2 to 3 times in their life, maybe every 7 to 10 years. So they don't have the track record to show to the buyer that the buyer can trust what the vendor's saying. So right now, they need us, and that's not going to change anytime soon. But how we are getting disrupted is we are no longer the gateholders of price information. There's homes.co.nz, there's Trading Property Insights, there's Relab, there's OneRoof. So they don't need us to do a free appraisal anymore. The very best marketing strategy in the history of marketing strategies no longer works as well. And it has been the best for decades, bar none, but for any industry. It's number one, the free appraisal. It's friggin' genius. But now, because this disruption is happening, we need to come up with something better. We need to add value in a different way. So flipping it on its head, these are the sort of blog topics that I've used to build a business. So I will write information targeted at people like Sally, 5 ways to add value to your home this weekend. How to make your home stand out online. 5 questions to ask at every open home. How to sell your home privately, because why not? Every owner thinks about that first, that thought passes over their mind, so why not just tell them how you do it, but obviously make it seem very complicated through that process, and explain that they really need you. But if that's the question they're asking, then why not answer it? And use that as an opportunity to establish yourself as the expert. And you can get, literally I've got hundreds and hundreds of these on my computer that I can share with you. You can find more free ideas at the URL below. Now I know at this point you might be thinking, I suck at writing. I prefer to be face-to-face with people. Put me in front of a vendor, I'm great. Put me in front of a blank Word document and I clam up like I'm about to speak on stage. So the service we created, which I'll allude to later, is where we provide all the content pre-written for you. But it's not actually that hard to do, and I'd encourage you to try doing it yourself. It's quite fun to produce something yourselves that has a shelf life that's infinite. You create one of these pieces, it's 500 words long, get a mate to spell check it for you. That is a lead generating piece of content forever for you. You can hand it out to open homes, you can email it out to your database, you can text it out to people, you can put it on Facebook, you can put it into poster flyers and letterboxes as well. So how does this look in practice? This is my own personal blog. So I started off as that young 22-year-old doing a regular email every fortnight, or every week sometimes when I wasn't dealing with too many big tasks. And it would just have latest listings in it. And I started to feel like that's boring. People have bought a house, they were unsubscribing after they'd bought. I needed a reason to keep in touch with people who owned a house and would sell one day, but weren't looking to buy right just this minute yet. So I started to add to the email little advice snippets. Just what's happening in the market, questions to ask at open homes, an example of a cool renovation or a big recent sale that had surprised us all on price. And then it grew and grew and grew. And once I started emailing these out, I thought, well, this is really sad. As soon as I email it out, it disappears into the ether. I need to take this cool, awesome stuff that I'm writing, and I need to put this on a website somewhere so it's got shelf life, so it's evergreen content. So a blog is just a very simple kind of website where you put this sort of stuff online, and each page of the website is one individual guide. People love this stuff. My blog, I don't even sell real estate anymore. My blog gets 700 page views a day with 0 advertising. I don't post on Facebook. I don't advertise on Google. I don't do anything. Nowadays I write maybe a post a month, and it's usually about composting. So I can tell you there is a need for this stuff. I have hard evidence. And the fact that for 10 years of my career, I tell you what, I haven't knocked on a door since long before that photo was taken. Okay, so now if you're still sitting there thinking the guides kind of thing isn't quite your style, you don't feel comfortable writing that up, I'm going to give you 8 other ways to do this that all achieve the same thing, and one of these might resonate more with you. And you only need one, okay? So, these aren't asking those specific questions of Sally's we covered earlier on, but they are asking questions that homeowners are asking. They're catching people even before they become Sally. So they're positioning you as the expert before they even get to that stage, which arguably is even better. So, You could decide as your long-term content strategy to create a hyperlocal sales newsletter. For each month, you print out a report, it has 2 or 3 sales that really impressed you. And you give a little bit of backstory about each of those settled sales. And you talk about what made that house different. Why was it so good? Was it renovated within an inch of its life? How many people turned up to the open homes? How many people were at the auction? Just get quite granular on it. Keep it simple, 1 page, doesn't have to be fancily formatted, you don't need a beautiful brochure to go with it. The client wants the information, not all your fluff. And you can share this on social media, you can share this in the post, you can share this on email, you can share this on your website. Local events would be, a car boot sale, or an open day at the fire station, or a school fair. You can be the conduit to share this information with your community and show that you care about your community. You can spotlight local businesses, and this is one of my favorites. You pick your plumber 1 month and you builder the next, and you write a little profile on them, and you ask them a couple of questions. You say, hey, Gabs, what do you love about your job? How did you come to do this? What do you love about living in Napier? Ideally take a little photo, put that on 1 page, and drop that around. How cool is that? How cool is that? How awesome is that for your tradesperson that you're promoting? It could be also a coffee shop. It could be a bookstore owner, it could be a local restaurant. But you're supporting local businesses, which shows you're part of the community. And when that handyman goes around to that owner's house to fix the squeaky gate, and they ask the owner, are you thinking of selling? The owner says yes, and the handyman says, well, you make sure you've got to use Gabrielle, she's the best. It's all endorsing you. You can create this circle of trust that helps each other out. Local sports results is a cool one. So some newspapers still do this, but it's starting to fall by the wayside. And I think it's really cool to share. I'd love to know what my local under-10s whippersnapper cricket team got up to on the weekend, and whether we've won every game for the last 10 weeks. Local rugby clubs. I'd love to be up to date with the scores and what happened. So if I meet someone in my community, I'm in the know. But someone needs to share that information. You can be that person. Just ask the clubs to share the results with you each week. You can put them into a digest, either weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, and share that in every medium. Gardening tips. All you need to do here is buy one of those gardening magazines that you see in every supermarket, and they have a calendar. Plant this in February, plant this in March, plant this in April, sow this in June. And you just copy that and put that onto a piece of paper and share that around. Easy as that. Will it get you a listing this month? Maybe not. Will it position you as a local expert who loves their community? Yes, it will. Local services, so this is what you referenced to. You could have ongoing list, like kind of a Craigslist of this person is happy to do dog walking, this person is happy to do babysitting, this person is happy to water your garden while you're away, this person is happy to just keep you company and have a chat. You can be the conduit for these sort of services to help connect people up. Especially cool for people that, it's a big one for, like a lot of people like Sally, move to an area they don't come from because that's what they can afford to buy a house. And they don't know anybody, and they have a few kids, and eventually they're going to move pretty quick because they need a bigger house. So don't expect that everybody in your market knows the market and knows all the good things about it, knows where to get a good coffee in the morning. Community notices, similar to the local events, but that's more upcoming roading changes and things to know about local school zones, whatever it might be. Kids' activities and meetups is probably my favourite. So referencing Sally again, you would share what are the best kid-friendly cafes to take your kids to? What are the best parks with the best playgrounds in town? Where are the local mum coffee groups catching up regularly? You can be that support person which saves them from the isolation which is so easy to fall into when you become a parent. So basically, we're looking to add value to people in our market who own houses. Okay? Simple as that. And this doesn't, as I say, it doesn't have to be beautifully formatted. The biggest mistake real estate agents make with their marketing, in my opinion, is waiting for the perfect flyer. Waiting for the perfect design. Oh, no, it's not quite right. Oh, I don't like my photo. No one's looking at your photo anyway. So just put something on paper and get it out there, make a start. Whatever you decide to put out next month is not the final product. It will change next month, and it will change next month, and it will get a little bit better all the time. How do we get this communication out to people? So, you've got your 4 traditional mediums: email, texting, which is a very underrated opportunity, posted mail, letterboxes, and social media. And in my opinion, far too many people are placing way too much emphasis on this and not enough emphasis on the other 3. Why? Because social media is the only one where you have no control of the audience. If you're building your business on social media, you're giving Zuckerberg all the control of your audience. If he wants to start charging you more and more and more to reach those people, he's already doing it, and trust me, they'll keep doing it. Anyone notice the reach of their Facebook posts dropping and dropping as the years go by? Yeah. Now, email, you could argue that people's inboxes get full and they get busy and everything, and that's okay. But there's value in an email, even if they don't open it. So a world-class open rate is about 30% with email. But even if they just see, as I do, every couple of weeks an email from Jamie saying, update from Jamie Slater, it remains, right, even if I don't open it, Jamie's doing the business, Jamie's doing the thing. Good old Jamie, she's smashing it. Who do I perceive as that number one agent? Okay, so that is a marketing touch, even if they don't open that. And please do not fear unsubscribes. So many people start doing an email system and they get 10 unsubscribes and they freak the hell out. I've got to stop emailing, I'm going to piss people off. Well, those unsubscribes going to ever list with you anyway? No, that's right. They are tidying up your database for you. You should thank them. And if you send out 950 emails, if you send out 1,000 emails, 50 of them unsubscribe. Most agents are going to crap themselves. But when that happens to you, because if you haven't emailed your database for 2 years, it is going to happen. When that happens, think of the 950 people who didn't unsubscribe, who were happy to get a message from you, okay? Because you'll need to remind yourself. It feels shit when your inbox fills up with all the unsubscribes, I'm telling you. But once you get through that, you're home and hosed if you just keep at it. Text messaging is a big one. Does Probably Sweet let you do text messages?
Yes.
Cool. So, text messages have a 100% open rate. Nothing else matches that. Nothing else comes close. Yes, it can cost a bit of money, but they are so valuable. If you've got buyers in the market or people that have come to your open homes, there's going to be groups of people that are owners, like Sally in there. And so if they'll come to one of your open homes, and then they get a text a week later saying, here's our top 5 questions to ask at your next open home. That's adding value to their process. That's giving them information without asking for anything back. The really simple one is just 2 options. Letting people know what a house is sold for once it's settled. Please start doing that. It's shocking to me how you don't get a text after you visit an open home telling what happened with that property. You don't even need to be specific on price. If you just text me, hey, that open home you came to a month ago sold in the mid-800s. Cool. Everybody wants to know. Whether they like the house or not, everybody wants to know. The other one is whatever area you work, like say it's Taradale. If there's a sale in Taradale, text all your owners in Taradale with that result. It doesn't matter whether it was like their house or not, they just want to know about local sales information. Really simple ones. So these are some examples from 2 people that I coach, Anna Thomason in Chicago and Nikki Burt in Milford, who Jamie Thomas knows very well. Now, you might look at this and think, gosh, I can't do that. And you don't have to. Your email can be completely plain text with no banners or colours or anything. But what I love about these 2 approaches is that it's all information for the owner. It's all information for the owner. And it's not asking for anything back. It's just giving. It's the Gary Vee approach. They're both using articles from Agent Monday, which Nick references a little bit further down. You look at the last line, he's even using my composting guide on his email. Very happy to see. Now, one of the 5th thing on that list of key steps was knowing your numbers. It's shocking to me how many people in real estate don't know their local market stats. Like the median days to sell in Napier, like the average percent over RV, like the average percent compared to the homes.co.nz price that things are going for, clearance rates at auctions, number of houses on the market compared to this time a year ago, compared to this time 2 years ago. When I search real estate statistics, need a glass of water to say that. This is just a couple of days ago. The first article that comes up is from Opus Partners, which is a property investment company. The second article that comes up is from Jermaine's. Yay! When you go there, it is only one blog post, and it's from June 2020, which is good. It's better than the competition. But I would argue it could be a little bit better. You can make that someone's job to put those stats together so that it's done by one person, not all of you doing the stats. One person does the stats, gets shared around with all the team so that you know your market, so you can slip that knowledge into your regular emails, or just talk about it when you're at open homes and when you're with vendors. Especially if you're a 22-year-old kid. Vendors loved it when I would turn up to listing presentations and say, oh, you know, well, just slip in the conversation, well, the actual median days to sell right now is 32.5, but it was 28 a year ago, so that may indicate that we're heading to a slightly slower market, blah, 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 blah. Love that stuff. Now, the next article down was written in December 2017. Now, I'm not saying every vendor would look up real estate statistics, Hawke's Bay. Not at all. But why not own that space? Why not be the experts in the area? Okay, so how am I going for time? Yes, am I? Cool. So, before I finish up, I want to go totally on a different topic and talk about mental health in real estate. Who suffered from periods of burnout? Cool. Thank you for putting your hands up. Real estate can be a pretty isolating career. Am I wrong? So, last Sunday, a very good friend of mine left home at 6:30 in the morning to drive to his friend's wedding in the Wairarapa. He got over the hill, but he never made it to the wedding. He parked up in a supermarket car park, and he took his own life. I just came from his wedding yesterday, got here late at night because I'd run from there. Now, the thing about my friend Alex is he was the most confident person you could ever hope to meet. He was charismatic. He was tall. He was drop-dead gorgeous. He wasn't handsome. He was drop-dead gorgeous. He could have anything he wanted. But deep down inside, behind that false shell of confidence, he had this deep, 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 crippling anxiety and a deep depression. Now, in real estate, this industry attracts a lot of people who have a lot of confidence on the outside. We all act like we're cool and everything's going great because we have to. But often inside, we're struggling to breathe. And we feel like a mouse on a wheel. And we feel like we're just out of control. I used to have dreams that I was in this car on a motorway and I was just out of control and I kept slamming into the side of the wall because I just couldn't keep up with everything. So one of the risks, if you do get good at real estate, if you increase your business, suddenly your business can take over you. Real estate is only a good business if it doesn't take over your life. Okay? So I just want to share with you a couple of key tips. First of all, I want you to genuinely congratulate each other when someone sells a house. I want you to genuinely, heartfeltly congratulate someone, even if you don't love them to bits, even if they're your competitor. I want you to give them a massive high five, a hug if it's appropriate, tell them they're doing an awesome job. Especially if that person has been battling for 6 months trying to sell that house. And I think as companies, we should reward resilience. Let's not just give awards to the top 10, the top 20, or the highest achievers. Let's give awards to the person who showed their selfless nature in an office setting. The person who doesn't try and register a buyer 5 minutes before your open home because they just walked through their one and they want to try and claim that sale if it happens. Let's reward people that do the right thing for each other. Let's make a big deal of comeback stories of someone that suffered in real estate and then their income went to shit because they had cancer last year or went through some sort of sickness or their partner got sick, but they came back this year. Or maybe they didn't get to where they were before, but they came back and they sold some houses and they got back into it. Let's award and celebrate the crap out of those people. Because it's not just about making money. Someone very rightly pointed out. A granular tip or a slightly smaller tip, when you get busy, put everything into campaigns. If you're running 5, 10, 15 listings, the only way to have any control of your life is to put everything in campaigns. Okay? And the last one is control your phone, don't let your phone control you. So, who wants to role-play setting an appointment with me on the phone? Man, please. Are you putting your hand up for Jamie?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Hi, it's Andrew Duncan here from Tremaines. How can I help?
You ringing me? Am I ringing
You're ringing me, you're the buyer.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I should have said that.
So I'm the buyer.
You're the buyer, so you're calling me. So ring, ring. Hello, it's... Hey, it's you, please do, yep.
No.
It's Andrew Duncan here from Jermaine's. How can I help?
I'd like to know the price of that property you've got up the road. You know that two-storey one with the kind of tiled roof?
This sort of market is really hard to say, but we are encouraging everyone to come and have a look. What sort of budget are you in at the moment?
I don't really know what sort of budget I've got.
You sound like someone who could afford it, so I think you should come and have a look. Slightly English accent. Yeah. Okay, so let's set a time to come and see it. Would you like to come and see the house?
I'm really busy.
Cool.
How about Friday night at 7 o'clock?
So, haven't we all had that every week forever? Listen, Jamie, I'm really excited to meet you and show you through. I've got 2 slots open at the moment. I've got Thursday at 4:30, I've got Friday at 12, or I've got the open home on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Which one suits you best?
Well, surely if you want to sell the property for your vendor, you'll find time to show me on Friday night.
Look, I appreciate that, I do, but my diary is completely full up, and so is the vendors as well. So those are the times I can work with. What's going to suit you best?
Maybe I'll just come to the open home.
Okay, cool. Let me know if anything changes and I can get you through it those other times. I'd love to see you there on Sunday. Have you got an email address where I can send you some more information in the meantime?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So, every time you get a viewing request, you give them 2 or maybe 3 times at the most. And if you have to, the other one that would often happen to me is Jamie would say, oh, I can't do 4:30 on Thursday, I don't finish work till 6. Or I don't finish work till 5. How soon can you get there, Jamie? Oh, I could probably leave work a bit early, I could probably get there at 5:15. Okay, cool, let's do that. And you've moved, but at least you haven't just agreed to, okay, why don't you do it is? I'll leave fish and chip night with the kids again. Who has left the family engagement or time with their kids to go and do a real estate appointment? That's so wrong. And I know you feel an onus of responsibility to your owners, and I love that. And we are there to fight for them. But if this job takes over your life, you're no good to anybody. You're no good to anybody. The other thing is to turn your phone off in the first place. So if you are sitting on that Saturday morning with your kids or at their sports game, turn the phone off. Everything will wait. You're not running an ER. It's going to be okay. Okay, so, and one very last step before we go is just to know what you're chasing. So in terms of mental health, it helps if you know where you're trying to get to. Are you chasing time affluence? Are you chasing a boat? Are you chasing investment properties? Are you chasing financial freedom? University education money for your kids? Write it down and know what you're doing this for. Because every time you go and sit in a vendor's house or show up after a property at 7:30 at night, there is an opportunity cost. There is something you're not doing with that time. You're not with your wife, your spouse, your husband, your family. So you have a purpose behind it. And that way, when you're getting swamped with red tasks and everything's on your plate, that way you'll be able to know why you're putting in the work. Okay? So, I'll take 10 seconds to show you this. Agent Monday, this is an example. We write the articles for you. I send you a new article every week. There's dozens of articles on the site already. You pay a monthly subscription as a license to use the content, and you can use it any way you like. You sell it as your own. So you take the articles and you say, I'm Gabrielle, I wrote this. It's white labeled content. And it's all written by me. The best part is, every week you also get coaching guides on how to improve your mental health, how to take control of your phone, how to get more listings, how to improve your listing presentations, how often you should email your database, all your common questions. What you're giving to Sally, I'm giving to you. Alright, so it is a monthly thing. It starts at $40 New Zealand a month. You can go and check it out anytime you like. If you want to get your first article for free, just text your email address to me. And there is a limit on the number of people who can join. So the idea with this thing is it's a small group of agents that I support this way, but obviously I don't want everyone to use this because then it loses some of its power. And we've got people in the US and Australia and all over New Zealand. It does fill up pretty fast. So yeah, go and check it out. Thank you all for having me. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you, and thank you all for being so engaging.